I know I have not been the most active on this platform as of late. I've just been so busy with other things. I've been working on stuff. I've been trying to get things with the gaming channel situated because I'm starting to do that now along with the art channel too, like where I can start doing daily uploads there pretty soon. So look forward to that. And I want to try and, get back into the daily uploads here because I do think it is fun. I do love just making these fun short little videos here and there, and then sometimes do one crazy wacky edited video here and there. Maybe that's what I'll start doing. That way I can mix both kinds of content together. So I apologize for that. But today I saw a story that I really wanted to talk about because it was just so out there and wild that I just wanted to bring it to light because it is just hilarious. Now, I have never been drunk before. I don't go drinking. Every time I taste a lick of alcohol, I just want to puke my guts out. It is the most disgusting thing ever. I don't think anyone has ever seen me, get drunk at all. They've seen me take a sip of a few things here and there, like a glass of wine, maybe like one tiny sip, and I was already gagging. But I've seen some pretty crazy drunks in my life. I've dealt with them a few times here and there whenever I'm working at my own job, but it's very rare a case whenever I see animals get drunk. And that's what happened in France. There was a bunch of drunk deer apparently that are now being a hazard on the road because they're eating fermented fruit. Now, I am not a local law enforcement officer, but I know a DUI when I see it. It is a clear deer under influence. Just the sight of seeing that deer, kind of seeing God at that point. I don't know how many of those fruits that deer ate, but it seemed enough to give them a buzz. That deer is a lightweight, most likely. Just takes one little bite of it and he is just off to the races. Now, I know this can be comedic for many reasons. It's like Bambi just escaping all of his pains and suffering through alcoholism, trying to see his mom again, getting a shot of Fireball or Jack Daniels, and just going to town trying to see visions of his dead mom over and over again because he can't escape anything. I honestly think if Disney made a movie like that, that would break #1 box office almost immediately. It would do way better than Avengers. It would do so much better than any other movie they put out, like of live action. In fact, make it even funnier. Make this the live action. That would be way better use of that technology for using live action stuff rather than making shitty remakes that no one ever wants to watch. But there is some problems with this. You see all the deer like in the wildlife, and it happens a lot of times. Whenever deer are out and about, they always just walk into the road unexpectedly. And I've had to see some of that too whenever I'm in here in Texas. And I see that a lot in Texas. Whenever I'm driving, you'll always see like a cat, a dog, a deer, a rabbit, any kind of animal on 4 legs you'll see out here in the wild. In fact, even one time I drove down and I think I saw a cow crossing the street, but I think that was like way on the outskirts of where I live. So there's a lot of wildlife here, that's for sure. But now this does solve the mystery though. I finally understand why these deer are finally popping out of nowhere in front of my car and just staring at the headlights. They're too drunk to understand what's going on with them. They're like, that's a pretty light right there. I think I'm gonna like go up there and lick it. It makes total sense. I never really thought of it like that, but the only reason animals keep getting on the road and just absolutely like wandering zigzags all over the place is because they're drunk. That makes the most sense possible, I would say. Now, I don't know which fruit got spiked in this whole thing. It was probably the grapes. It's France, so they make a lot of wine there. So I would assume that there was some fermented grapes going on. They were just like picking at it, trying to taste it, and it got them pretty fucking wild. Maybe now we can finally get some law enforcement out there to take action here, get some breathalyzers on these animals, make sure they're good enough to go back to their nests or whatever they're doing. Going up to them asking, like, have you been drinking too much today, sir? Have a bit too much indulgence in the fields? Just stuff like that. That would be hilarious. I am really happy that this came to light. I think it was something that really brightened up my day. But I do genuinely hope that these animals don't get hurt in the process. If they like OD on this kind of stuff, it could be very bad. And if they just walk out into the road, that's even worse, because there are a lot of, bad drivers out there who are just not paying attention to the road. I would just hope that whenever these animals are crossing the street in whatever state they're in, that they don't get hurt. Because I do feel, emotional whenever I do see an animal on the road that's just like dead. It's a sad thing, but it happens. It's always going to happen, unfortunately. But this topic did actually intrigue me. I kind of wanted to go down the rabbit hole of how animals get drunk. Not that I would ever, purposefully do it, but I think it is, kind of interesting. And apparently it only really happens in the spring and fall time, and that's just because like the temperature change, it's helping with fermentation of certain fruits and berries. It's actually kind of interesting. There was even one part that I saw that was kind of interesting. It said that some animals have adapted to metabolize alcohol efficiently, meaning they can eat fermented food without showing signs of intoxication. For example, pen-tailed tree shrews consume fermented nectar nightly without getting drunk. That is pretty interesting. I would love to kind of go into the whole detail of how many animals can get drunk, which ones have the best liver, which ones can, just go all night partying like they're the Irish. It would be pretty nuts. I actually am very intrigued by this topic. I don't know why I am. It just seems something that would, just interest me for no reason. I do wonder though if like they just have a happy hour every night whenever they're just walking in the fields or going off to pick their own, meals and everything, saying like, we had a good hibernation this year, let's party till we're drunk. It's gonna take a little while, maybe like a few days, but we'll get there eventually. And maybe that's what this deer did. Maybe it was like their first spike drink or something. It was something pretty nuts. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. I just wanted to talk about this because it was a very interesting topic to go over, and I want to do more like this sometime. Maybe I'll do my own like big topic videos here in the future, or I'll do some other stuff here. But let me know what y'all think. Thanks for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll talk to you later.